I loves the internet.
In my last video I talked about the God AI that might become the next step in evolution and leave us, humanity, behind. But there's another option. We could become the AI. We could become God. This is Ray Kurzweil's territory. While Sam Harris is like a fellow explorer of the unknown, Ray Kurzweil is more like an oracle. People have tried to poke holes in his arguments, but the only thing they came up so far is, he's a little creepy and insane. Really? That's all you have? Come on. Ray is not as present on the internet as many of the other people I introduce here, but literally all of his videos are mind-blowing. You might quite literally freak out when you hear his outlandish ideas of a future world that is completely alien to our present understanding of human life. But don't forget how alien our world would feel to a person 200 years ago. Do you really expect the world of tomorrow to look the same as it does today? Think about it. So here's Ray's prediction in a nutshell. Ray has been a supporter of the theory of exponential technological growth for many decades. This kind of growth is most prominently described in Moore's law, which states that computers double their complexity roughly every 2 years. Ray takes it a step further by saying that all technology from the beginning of human civilization grows at an exponential rate. Here's how this works. See how this line goes straight up? It's a bit scary, isn't it? Well, I hope you disagree, because this curve is not exponential. It's linear. This one is exponential. When you're a linear thinking being, like a human for example, exponential growth looks like no growth at all for a long time. And then it looks like all of a sudden it's growing like crazy. And then you just hit this wall here. Bang. And that's usually when things get interesting, in an existential kind of way. There are many examples for this, and I will use fire. We have all learned that fire that goes out of control is very dangerous. The reason why it is so dangerous is that it grows exponentially as long as it has enough fuel to burn. That's why it is important to get away from it as fast as you can, because you are moving away from it at a linear speed, whereas the fire moves exponentially and it might catch up with you when you think you're already at a safe distance. If this example doesn't cut it for you, then have a look at Ray's videos. He explains this much better than me. The point to take away from it is that we as humans lack an intuitive understanding of this exponential growth, so we cannot comprehend how fast the fire will catch up with us. But as far as Ray is concerned, it might not burn us. Instead, there's a chance that it will elevate us. He predicts breakthroughs in AI and nanotechnology within our lifetimes that might enable us to become immortal. But always keep in mind that these are just predictions that might or might not become real. And you could easily accuse Ray that his wish is the father of the thought. And you wouldn't be all too wrong about it either, because in fact, he is planning to resurrect his dead father through those technologies, collecting all of his memories to one day build them into an AI that might even have a consciousness, like his real father. That's like taking Frankenstein's monster and turn it onto its head. Father and son, son and father, the circle completes. You might find this a little bit creepy, and I understand, but I also understand Ray. I think what he's doing there is a very human thing to do. Ray is an old man himself and may not reach that age of immortality, but his father might become one of the first AI people, and then it might resurrect its son. Sounds like a pitch for a movie, but it's actually really happening right now, and there's a chance that it will play out exactly as I said. Okay, if you're new to this topic, then that's a lot to take in. But I hope I've sparked your interest and you go and watch some of Ray's videos or videos about him. Even if you disagree on many different levels, it's still totally worth your while. This whole thing is called Trans-Humanism. I'm not a super expert on this, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt. But one of the basic concepts is to link up the human mind to a computer and thus become immortal. The easiest way to think about it is to just upload a complete brain to a computer. Done. You finished. Once the computers have a big enough memory, it's just a matter of copy-paste, right? And instead of waiting for this technology for a couple hundred years, exponential growth means that it might actually be here within the next couple of decades. So this is happening. Just exactly how it will happen is up for debate. Here's my personal scenario. Everyone should have one. Let's say in 5 years you can buy a brain chip that you can attach to your head. No surgery necessary. It will use electromagnetic waves to communicate with your brain. You get a direct connection to the internet, news feeds, Wikipedia, Twitter, and so forth. Also, your brain's capacity gets boosted by 10%. You can store precious memories in there, use it for extended calculations, philosophical musings, etc. Another 5 years later, you get the upgrade chip 2.0. It's basically the same, but you can choose from 5 different colors and get a brain boost of about 20%. Another 5 years later, it's a 50% boost. And another 5 years later, a 100% boost. So after a total of 15 years, your brain capacity has doubled, and half of your thinking processes now take place in the brain chip. It's not getting any bigger, it's still the size of a fingernail, like the first version. And it now uses nanotechnology for even faster interaction with your natural brain. This will obviously have an effect on your personality. How big, I don't know. Imagine a way smarter version of yourself today. Another 5 years later, the capacity goes up to 200%. Or let's call that plus 2 brains. Another 5 years later, it's plus 5 brains. Another 5 years later, plus 10 brains. Another 5 years later, plus 20 brains. Then plus 50 brains, then plus 100 brains. 45 years have passed and you die from a traffic accident, because for some crazy reason humans are still allowed to drive cars. But at that point, 99% of your brain capacity is not in your natural brain, it's on your brain chip. So when your natural brain dies, you only lose 1% of your personality. It hurts a little, but life goes on, right? Okay, and then what? Does this make you immortal? Does it turn you into an AI? Are you even yourself anymore? You tell me, down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends. Bye bye. Oh, and like and